Hello my beautiful and lovely gamers, my name is Jonal. Let's talk about a new insane patch note, the potential death of Double Shield, the buff to Genji, and everything in between. Let's cover that in today's video. Of course, before I start the video, a like on the video helps against YouTube's abusive algorithms. Give me your opinions and thoughts on this. Are you happy? Are you sad? I know some people will be sad to see nerfed to double shield and buff to certain DPS heroes, while other people will like it, like me. I think that this is a great mix-up in the meta. And of course, if you want to rank up, improve, and get better at Overwatch, at the game, doesn't matter if you're bronze, top 100, if you play for a team or not, you can hire me as your private coach. It's 50 euros for a 2-hour session. Hit me up on our Discord server down below. Let's start with the general stuff that happened. That is actually a change to armor. So armor damage reduction has been increased from 3 to 5 for each hit that deals 10 damage or more, meaning as long as anything deals 10 damage more, instead of just blocking 3, it will block 5, which is fine. Like, it's a small thing. You will see this. What they essentially have done this entire patch note is reduce shield, buff the tanks, so in mobility and survivability and so on, so that they are not as reliant on the shields anymore, so they are more reliant on their physical health. One of those is armor changes, as most tanks, especially main tanks, run armor, right? So increasing the overall armor on people to absorb a little bit more damage is important. And outside that, we will see a little bit changes to DPS. Let's do it. Let's cut away the tanks first. Let's cover the DPSs because there's some interesting stuff there. Now, first of all, Genji. So Genji Shuriken's ammo has been increased from 24 to 30. That's not, of course, the buff that I want to see. I made a video where I said that I wanted his damage to be increased by 2, all the way up to 30. But an ammo increase is also interesting. It is because of the longer survivability of certain heroes. Sometimes you get caught mid-reload unless you burst perfectly. That can be frustrating. So having a little bit more extra shots, more precisely having 2 extra bursts of 3 Shurikens, will help quite a lot with this. Next one is Torbjorn, and his overload cooldown has been decreased from 12 to 10 seconds, giving a little bit more flexibility, doing that he's not as much caught out, essentially just making Torbjorn a little bit more viable. Widowmaker actually got a nerf. Her grappling hook cooldown has been increased from 10 to 12 seconds. It's a small thing, but it is still a viable thing. You now notice she has less mobility, she can do less rotations and grapples and so on. This is to fix essentially the lack of barriers, right? As soon as barriers are not, very heavy, Widowmakers immediately becomes meta immediately. This is a little bit of a precursor from the balancing team to try to make sure that Widowmaker doesn't become immediately just dominate in competitive and on the ladder and so on. One of the things that I want to give a little bit of press on, that one I find fun, is how well the balance team has happened before early times of Overwatch, right? They were really good at just doing one thing and one thing only. That was like, if they did a balance change, immediately something got like nerfed to the ground that was useless and something else just became insanely meta. Now you can see that they're doing stuff like this where they are, preemptively striking balance changes to try to fix problems before they create them by changing up the meta. Now Orisa, and this is kind of where you will start seeing, let's go to the tanks. So Orisa got general. Her base armor is increased from 200 to 250, making her a little bit more survivable. Her fusion driver, meaning her gun, her LMG, movement speed penalty reduced from 30 to 20%, meaning she moves faster. As should be on the screen right now, a comparison between live server and PTR server. Her protective barrier health reduced from 900 to 600. Her fortify cooldown decreased from 10 seconds to 8 seconds, and that's what we see now, right? Her barrier has been increased by 300, but her cooldown on Fortify has been decreased by 2 seconds, so she will have Fortify more often. She has faster movement speed, making her more difficult to hit while she is shooting, and she got more armor, so she herself is more survivable, but she has less shield, meaning the shield will easily get broken. On top of that she still has the old nerf, where her cooldown on her shield was increased, which already was pretty significant. Now, Reinhardt, and you should be able to see this on the screen right now. While Reinhardt is holding his barrier, his movement speed penalty has been reduced from 50% down to 25%, which is insane. That's like 50 to, just look at the monitor, just look at the screen. This live and this PTR. Look at the difference of speed between this, from 50 to 25. His health of his barrier has also been reduced from 2,000 all the way down to 1,600, so that's a 400 HP reduction. And his steadfast ability, meaning what essentially does that he cannot get pushed and knocked back this much, knockback resistance has been increased from 30% to 50%, meaning he's even now more difficult to move around. Doing that, he can actually finally, and we talked about this on the channel, move more aggressively forward. Of course, a nice reminder before we go to Sigma to, again, subscribe to the notification channel if you like Overwatch or all things FPS. Sigma, his experimental barrier, meaning the fucking fling that he flies out of his hand, The health has been reduced from 1,500 down to 900. Another really, really big reduction. But also then, and this is like very, very important, his barrier health regeneration rate has been increased from has been reduced from 150 to 120 health per second, meaning he will now generate his barrier slower than what he used to do, right? So he has a smaller shield, and it takes longer time for him to recharge health on that barrier, doing that he can't have it up, meaning also more micromanagement from the Sigma. Now his kinetic grasp, his cooldown, has been reduced from 13 seconds to 10 seconds, meaning he can eat more damage easier, kind of like a budget defense matrix. However, his damage to shield gain ratio has been increased from 40 to 60. So he will be more reliant now on his own survivability of his kinetic grabs. Again, putting more on Sigma and less than just him abusing his barriers. D.Va's defense matrix cooldown has been decreased from 2 seconds to 1.5 seconds. It means you can open and activate the defense matrix more often in between with 0.5 second increasement, which is pretty good. That's like a 25% decrease on the cooldown, I think. And then Zarya, her particle cannon, which meaning her secondary fire, the explosive radius has been increased from 2 to 2.5 meters, meaning it's larger, and the ammo cost has been decreased from 25 to 20, meaning she can shoot a little bit more. And then there's one thing, and I know that a lot of people are gonna be not just happy, but like ecstatic about this. Moira's Biotic Grasp. Her healing has been reduced from 4 to 3.25, meaning it has been reduced from 80 health per second to 65 health per second, which is again a big nerf to Moira. Doing that again, she can still heal, she's still mobile, but she won't be as difficult for DPSs or really anyone to take out in 1v1, as she now will heal way less while being in that 1v1. So that is what has been happening in the patch note. A reduction on the shields of the individual tanks, focusing more on the individual tank player himself, a buff or nerf to certain DPS heroes, and some changes on to stuff like the Moira, where she's now a little bit less frustrating to play against. I think this is a really good balance test. It has kind of done a little bit to Genji, not too much. I still wanted the general increases damage by 2, which I talked in a video why I wanted that mathematically. But besides that, I really like this. I think that this is a really good way of activating tanks, and especially just the movement thing on Reinhardt, which we talked about the channel before, is really, really important for him as a player. And it makes, hopefully this will do that double shield is not as meta as it is anymore, and this will also probably hopefully put out a little bit of a stick in the wheel of Bastion comps, even though you can look upon it the other way, where of course now the Bastion will be strong because there's fewer barriers, but at the same time you can also break his barriers. All I know is I'm gonna abuse Bastion in rank ladder if anybody plays double shield against me now, because I will just wreck their shield. Of course, this is still a PTR patch. Stuff is due to change, but they rarely do, so this most likely what's gonna get pushed out. I will update you guys if anything happens. Subscribe with bell notification, like on the video against YouTube's abusive algorithm. Tell me down below if you like to change it or not. I know some people won't like it, I know some people will love it. I personally love it a lot, especially the Moira changes. But besides that, again, if you wanna improve, rank it up, and get better at the game, doesn't matter if you're bronze or top 500, hire me as a private coach. It's 50 euros for a 2-hour session. As long as you can get a VOD to me, I can help you improve. So hit me up on our Discord server down below. Follow me on Twitter. All that linked in the description, actually, down below. I love you guys very much. As always, my name is Jonal. You guys, please take care, stay positive. I love you guys very much. And as always, keep the enemy in your crosshair.